Hey everyone, welcome to Friendship Shaving. I'm certainly glad to be here today. I'm really looking forward to this shave. My soap today is going to be the Hasslinger sheep's soap, and I've got a little sample squashed into my wooden bowl. It is a soap for sensitive skin. It smells quite similar to Mitchell's wool fat, but I know that it lathers up a lot easier than Mitchell's wool fat. It's not quite as hard, and I'm going to get some water on that and balloon that straight away. Now my razor today is an iconic razor, especially for me, because it is one that I saw growing up. It is the Schick Injector Type L razor, and I've got one that's new old stock in this case. I'm chuffed to bits to get this. Let me just open it to show you a little bit more. This was made between 1965 and 1980. I've got the original instructions with it. The outer box, unfortunately, was beyond its best. But I was born in 1963, so I'll have seen this, and it's got this lovely sloping handle, smooth on the top, textured underneath, and it has got the dummy blade sat in there. I'll just put that there for a moment, and I'm going to be using one of the original blades, a Shick Ultra Platinum. So I'm going to see if we can get that loaded. The stem or the key goes into the back of the razor like that, and apparently this pushes forward. There we go, there's the dummy blade is out, my new blade is loaded, and I'm all ready to go. And I think that might be the only blade I use from that pack. Fantastic, I can't wait to use this. I will certainly keep the dummy blade. It is a metal blade, but it's not sharpened. I will certainly keep that. And right, so I'm ready. Let me just wet my face a little bit and use some of this balloon water from the soap. I've got my friend Graham to thank for this sample of Hasslinger soap. He sent it for me from up near Tonopandi in the South Wales valleys, the Rhondda valleys, which was my home for many years, and I still consider it to be my home. So diolch yn fawr, Graham Butty, nice one. So I've got my brush, my deluxe. I'm just going to wet that. And today I'm going to do a 10-second load on the soap. I've had a bit of banter and a good conversation with Chris Seeker, who told me, he's an older gentleman, told me that in his opinion I was getting too much soap on the brush when I was loading it. 10 seconds was sufficient, even with a hard soap. And I have tried it on a couple of soaps, and he seems to be quite correct. So my brush is wet. I'm just going to give that a squeeze and a couple of good shakes, and I'm going to get that on the soap for 10 seconds. Right, I think that is about 10 seconds, and if you look at the brush, there doesn't appear to be much on there. This Hasslinger soap quite a thirsty soap, I think, but we shall see. Will that be enough? 10 seconds. So I'm just going to put that there for the moment, and I'm going to take some of the excess soap just from around the edges of this bowl and get that on my face as well. Been quite intrigued with this 10-second load, but actually it works, and I seem to be getting a better lather. Now whether that's because I've less soap on my brush to start with and I need to add less water, I don't know, but I've tried it for the last 2 days and it certainly seems to work quite well for me. Just dip the tips of my brush now. This Hasslinger soap is, it smells slightly different to the Mitchells when it's wet, but it does have a similar soap. It's quite unscented. It comes in a very small pack, about that big, much smaller than normal, and it's about £5 or £6 a pack. Get some more water into this. As I say, it is quite a thirsty soap, this Hasslinger. It's lathering up quite well, I must say. So I'm going to go a bit more on this, get a bit more water still. Do you know what? That's a good lather. And you can see my brush is chockers. So a 10-second load certainly works. I've got it up my nose, in my ears, everywhere. Now this Schick razor, I'm looking forward to using this. Invented by a Colonel Shick, and was first made in 1926, although the design has changed over the years, and the one that I'm using today is entirely different from that first one that was invented by Colonel Shick. He sold the company, the magazine repeating, and I've written it down, the magazine repeating razor company. He sold the company in 1928 because he went on to patent and bring to market in 1930 the very first electric razor called the Schick dry razor. So Colonel Shick was, a giant in the shaving industry. But this is one of the oldest production razors, and the cartridge system that he invented is exactly the same as what's used today. And one of the blades from those very first cartridges will still fit and work into the more modern razors. And I think that is something fantastic. Now, like all single edge razors, I'm going to put the razor head flat on my skin and just tilt the handle slightly. And you know what? This is amazing. This is a Type L razor. Now let me explain about the type. There was a gentleman called G Appleby who was a Schick fanatic. And that gentleman put together his own system of organisation to what's the word I'm looking for? To organise and record the production of the Schick razors. There are no manufacturing dates on Schick razors. So the L system is Mr. Appleby's own invention, if you like. Nothing to do with Schick at all. I have seen on eBay lots of these advertised as an M-type razor, and that's because there's a little printed code under there on the head, and a lot of them say M47, but I've also seen M26, M22 and various other ones. Now mine is an H47. As I say, there's no dating information on a Schick razor, and that code refers to manufacturing. I have seen a picture of a Schick case similar to mine that had printed on the bottom Milford, Connecticut. And that razor was stamped with an M code. So I wonder if the M is the plant that it was produced at. Perhaps the number is the production run. But it certainly seems likely that M stands for Milford. I can't tell you what the H might stand for, but if anybody knows, or if anybody has any idea of where the Schick manufacturing plants were located, I'd certainly be very, very interested. And just to tell you guys, this is one of the best razors I've ever used with this blade. It is fantastic. It's so smooth. And a really, really nice razor. I will use this for a week and then it will be cleaned up and put back in its little case for safe keeping. Let's get some of that from around the bottom of the brush there. I have been looking at some of the older Schick razors. I really like the ones from the 1940s with the metal case but covered in leather with Schick Injector written on the top. I've found in looking around that, you know, these are still readily available and at a very good price. This one, new old stock, cost me £26. I'm chuffed to bits with that. It's yeah, it's pride of place for me in my little collection. I'm absolutely made up with this one. In 1946, this is interesting. The company that then bought Schick, because it's been bought and sold quite a few times, the company, but they made a Schick razor with a gold handle. They made two actually. They made one where the handle splits and separates like you know, like a pair of scissors would open, and they are gold plated. And they made another one with a solid gold handle. Love to find one of those in the second-hand shop. Would you tell them if they didn't know? Or would you bargain them down a little bit more? What can I offer you for that old brass razor? Do you know they never got rid of the Colonel Schick's name when Eversharp owned the company in the 1950s? They played around with it. They you know, used a different font. They made the Schick part smaller, but they never quite got rid of Colonel Schick's name, and it was just became known in the 50s as the Eversharp Schick, which just makes it sound like it never goes blunt. I tell you what, these blades are amazing. What are they? Platinum Ultra. God, I'd love to get a few hundred of these. They are fantastic. Such a good shave. Let me tell you boys, look out for one of these. Apparently Schick always played second fiddle to Gillette, but in Japan they were the biggest seller, and they remain the biggest seller in Japan today, although a lot of the modern Schick razors are obviously cartridge razors. But in Japan, and I believe they're available in America, they still make the old cartridge for these razors. So I can only think that over there must be quite a demand for them. I know that I've seen some of the old feather razors that appear to be a copy of the Schicks. Apparently the Type O was the last of this type to be produced. I believe it only went on sale in Japan. I'd quite like to get one of those, I must admit. Do you know what, guys, in terms of comfort, I think that's certainly one of the best shaves I've ever had. That was really, really great. Fantastic razor. I'm so pleased to get it. Oh yeah, very nice indeed. Do you know that Hasslinger soap is very nice? Nice bit of cushion on it. A little bit of residual slickness. It's a very nice soap indeed. Now guys, I've got a new aftershave balm today. It is a Nivea one, but it is the cooling post-shave balm as opposed to just their sensitive, which I normally use. Now this one has got chamomile flowers in it, so it is very lightly scented. It's also got menthol in it, and it is a bit of a face number, but as I find with all Nivea products, I really like it. I think this is terrific. It's got a beautiful scent on it. As I say, it must be from that chamomile flower, but it still maintains some of the scent of the normal Nivea sensitive. And there's no alcohol in it, but I can feel I've got a tingle going on all over my face now. And that'll settle down, and in a few minutes my face will be properly numb for a little while. I'm coming to really get what some of you guys like about menthol. I love this. I love this product. So there we are, fellas. That is my shave for the week with my absolutely gorgeous Schick razor. I just love this. And in fact, I may look out for another one just so that I can keep that in its box and keep it in pristine condition. They did make one with a white handle. If you see one, it had a white handle and a red and blue stripe running down the handle. And I think it was made for maybe the Olympics in 1976. I've only ever seen one of them, and it was in pretty bad condition, so perhaps that's one to keep an eye out for. Lovely razor. I can't tell you how effortless and how nice a shave that was. I think these Schick razors are really worth keeping an eye out for. And Persona still do the blades in a cartridge. I got this one from Connaught Shaving. It was quite inexpensive and a good enough blade, you know, perfectly good enough, but not as good as those original Platinum Ultras. They are special. That's my lot, guys. Have a great week, and you take care of yourselves, and I'll certainly see you next time. All the best to you. Bye bye now.